Even if you're not a numbers person, you probably understand that there are certain numbers you need to know in retirement. It's the only way you can answer the question, do I have enough to retire? Joining us to discuss the 4 numbers you really need to know are Gary Mattson and Laurel Stewart, the father-daughter team at Mattson Financial Services, a financial firm that's been helping people retire successfully right here in West Michigan for decades, and helping people figure out their numbers every single day. You guys actually kind of enjoy the math, don't you?
Yes, that's the fun part. We love to figure everything out.
That's why I start smiling. I'm like, oh yeah, let's figure this out and make it happen. In fact, we had clients come in this week and wanted to start and go early, and we did the math, and he's like, wow. And I says, now if you have 2 days in a row, that's bad. You can leave. And he goes, it may be just 1 day in a row.
I love it. I'm so glad you guys are with us once again. Gary, Laurel, let's start with the most obvious number most people probably want to know. How much do I need to enjoy my retirement? How do you help someone get to that number?
Yeah, and so for us, that's what we call the critical income need. That's the amount of money that you need every month to pay your ordinary bills. And from there, we're going to carve that out, and then we're going to look at the lifestyle items as well.
Okay, so you've done the math. That seems pretty simple, right? You've got an equation for that. You've done the math. You've got the goal number. So what comes next?
Well, then it's really looking at, number one is that how much were they taking home before they retired? We want to start with 100% of their take home. And the reason for that, people say, well, I'm not going to be stopping by Starbucks and getting that coffee, or I'm not going out lunch with my friends. Well, that's true, but you're going to be doing other things in retirement. So once we have the critical income need bucket filled up, and then we have the lifestyle, we make sure the income flow can work from the portfolio, and then we do the number to make sure you don't run out of money. So the portfolio can sustain that from both sides of that critical income need and the lifestyle bucket side.
Okay, so we know the number, the goal number. We know how much we were spending before we retired, a couple of important numbers there. What are some other important numbers we need to figure out before we stop working?
Yeah, we need to look at taxes. You know, that's a number that a lot of people don't know and it's missed. So that's something we want to make sure we talk about, what kind of income you need, like we've mentioned, and then also the growth on those assets and what that's going to do for you, so we can make sure you have a tax strategy in place.
And then, of course, health services. Make sure you have a healthy retirement so you can do the things you want to and have that comfort to know that insurance and all that's going to be there. And, of course, the final piece is making sure that you can do your dreams, your goals, your desires, the vacations or the traveling that you want to do. All those pieces need to fit together. And if we have a pandemic or we have a market downturn, how is the portfolio going to perform in those tough times? And can you still do what you want to without having losses for income? All those pieces have to come together, the 5 pieces that we talk about, together to make sure your portfolio and your retirement work successfully all the way through.
You know, you guys kind of make this math sound easy, but I'm sure there's a lot going on behind the scenes here, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad we want to make it sound easy, but that's where we get the enjoyment. So we're going to, get together, talk about everything, collect those numbers, do the calculations, and then get back together and show you everything and lay it out in a really easy retirement roadmap, we call it, so you can see everything.
Yeah, and truth of it is we have about 40 man hours in each plan that we do for a client that is complimentary for them, but we want to make sure we've touched on every piece that they want to have and the things that we know about being alive and well, alive and not well, short-term or long-term disabilities, what happens upon the first death and the second death. All of that comes into the planning besides the enjoyment of the money and the retirement.
Sounds like you've got all the bases covered, and the good news is that you're the experts and we can trust you to take care of this, and you have a great special offer. So for you at home, if you want to take advantage of a great offer from Mattson Financial right now and lock in one of those retirement plans so that your numbers are going to be taken care of, just be one of the first 5 callers who have saved at least $250,000 or more for retirement by calling 616-514-3831, and they'll sit down with you to help you figure out the numbers that matter the most and set you up to live that retirement you deserve. That number again is 616-514-3831. Gary, Laurel, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys ready for number 2? 3, 2. When you get to retirement, okay? Sure. Hey, Laurel, can you hear me right now?
Mix minus is an audio signal that is carefully designed.
Laurel,
Hello,
can you hear
hello, 1, 2, 3.
Laurel, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Gary, can you hear me? Can Laurel
Yes,
hear
I
me?
can hear you.
You can? Oh, goody.
Yes, I can.
Oh, goody.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Three, two. You may have been looking forward to this for a long time. You get to retirement and you think, boy, I'm going to toss that alarm clock out the door. Get as much sleep as you want. But if you're watching the financial headlines in the market, getting some shut-eye might be a difficult thing. With us to discuss all of this, Gary Mattson and Laurel Stewart. They are the father-daughter team at Mattson Financial Services, a firm that's been helping West Michigan families retire successfully for decades and helping them sleep better at night. Gary, Laurel, welcome to the show. Tell us, how's your sleep these days? You guys sleeping well?
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm trying to soak up every last bit that I can at this point because, as you can see, it's coming soon that we're expecting a baby boy.
Congratulations once again, Laurel. We are eagerly anticipating the new baby.
Yes, thank you.
You know, for the people you work with in retirement, what typically keeps them up at night?
It's really the concerns, are they going to run out of money is number one. You know, especially we have people that really do a lot of calculating on their own. They bring the spreadsheets in, they calculate everything out, and they're doing some modest things. And generally you find out they'll miss one or two minor things that could have a tremendous effect. Fees on portfolios or taxes on portfolios, those are things that they don't quite understand or miss a little bit because they think the taxes they had prior to retirement are going to be the same in retirement. And that's just not the case. So having those little tweaks along the way and making sure they don't run out of money is the number one, I think, is their goal.
Fees, taxes, that sounds stressful, okay? So how do you help people address those specific concerns?
When we're looking at fees, that's something where we can actually run a fee analysis. And so a lot of people will come in and say, hey, my advisor told me the advising fee is 1.5%, and that's all I'm paying. Well, if you're in mutual funds or variable annuities, there's a lot of different other fees involved that they just don't know about. And so it's really important to make sure we shed some light on that, but we also want to showcase, what we do here and why we do it with our fee structure, and that's something that we actually go over in that very first meeting.
So as fiduciaries, which means we're always going to do what's best interest of the client and be transparent in fees, talk about them all, what we do is sit down and look at that and say, if we could save you some money here and some money there, taxes, to a little bit extra return, those numbers really add up to be significantly different.
Someone watching this right now might be thinking, ooh, I thought my taxes would be the same, and I didn't know about these fee analysis plans, and maybe not so confident in their plan anymore, so they're up at night worrying about some of these issues. I understand that you may have a special offer for them.
Yes, so for the first 5 callers, if you save $250,000 or more for retirement, we're offering you a complimentary opportunity to sit down with one of our advisors to see how we can take care of those questions that are keeping you up at night.
I love that. That sounds like a great offer. Thank you. So once again, for you at home, take advantage of that retirement plan now. See how the team at Mattson Financial Services can help you get those 8 hours or more of sleep at night. Again, that offer for a comprehensive customized retirement plan is complimentary for the first 5 callers who have saved $250,000 or more. So be one of those 5 callers now. 616-514-3831. That's 616-514-3831. Gary, Laurel, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
I am. Here we go. In 3, 2. When you're winding down your career and heading toward retirement, it should be a time to reflect on all that you've accomplished during your working years. Back with us today to discuss this is Gary Mattson, Laurel Stewart, the father-daughter team at Mattson Financial Services, a financial firm that's been helping people retire successfully right here in West Michigan for decades. You can also hear them every weekend on their radio show, Money Mentors. Do you two ever think back to the first job you had and how you had to earn that very first paycheck, Gary, Laurel? Do you remember that first gig?
I do. Well, actually, for me, I think it started when I was 6 or 8 years old. I raised money for charities through 4-H livestock.
Wow, very commendable. How about you, Gary?
And you have an interesting one.
Yeah, I actually started very young at 8 years old, and I actually trimmed headstones at a cemetery, getting paid $0.25 an hour and throughout the summer months. And so that's what I did every single day, Monday through Friday.
Well, and you'd finish, right? And then you're back at it again.
Yeah.
So.
Goodness.
Always saw the same people, though.
I suppose you did. Oh, my goodness. Of course, I was delivering newspapers. We all remember those first gigs or first jobs that we had. So today, you're working with people who are typically on their last job, not their first job. They want to hang it up. They want to retire soon. So how do you show them that all that hard work over the years can actually pay off?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really realize where they're at. You know, they are saving, they're putting that money away towards a goal, or maybe even more so a time. You know, I don't want to look at retiring until I'm 55 or maybe 62. But what we like to do is then get together and, you know, give you a financial checkup and see where you're actually at. And a lot of people, I think, are really surprised to see what they've saved and how that will turn into income for them, and they can enjoy their lifetime of retirement.
And sometimes they have plans out there that they've left the company, is still back there, and we put all these bits and pieces together and get all the assets together and show them where they're at, they're actually a little surprised.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be pretty different, though, for people who are used to working hard and saving. They've been doing it for decades, right? To make that transition, though, to a life of not working, what is that like for them?
Yeah, I definitely think that there's that emotional and psychological piece there, because now you have this, you know, money that you've worked so hard for and saved, and you need to see that that has to now take care of you. So it's a definite, you know, different transition piece.
Yeah, we had clients come in and she does not want to go back to work, but she wants to do something. So she's now choosing to volunteer her time, so she has the fulfillment of being with other people and encouraging different situations without affecting them in a negative way from income. And that's what she looked at. She goes, well, if I go out and earn money, it's actually going to cost us more in taxes because it puts us into a new tax bracket. I don't want to do that, but I have fulfillment. So she's volunteering.
You know, a lot of us can wrap our heads around saving money for a monetary goal. Where we set that number and we're putting that money aside to try to reach that goal. But not a lot of us know a lot about tax strategies for retirement. What kind of a difference can that make?
Well, it's really kind of interesting that most people get to the goal line, they think, we made retirement, we're here. Mm-hmm. And actually, the journey's just beginning. You finished one lifestyle of your working years, and now we got to go into the retirement years. So it's making sure your dreams, your goals, and your desires are covered, and within doing that, that you're doing it from the best tax strategy you can. There's actually 3 tax buckets. Tax-free, which we all love, of course, tax-deferred, and then taxable. And if you pay too much in taxes, you're going to have less money for you to utilize. Now, there's legal ways that we can adjust that and making sure that you're in the lower tax bracket based upon, again, your dreams, your goals, and desires to get you where you want to be.
I like that. You can legally get us some more money in our pocket, still paying Uncle Sam, but basically maximizing everything we can to enjoy the retirement that we've worked so hard to get to. So thank you, Gary and Laurel. Thank you so much for this great offer that you're offering. If you're unsure that all your hard work is going to pay off for you in retirement, or you're interested in keeping more of that hard-earned money with that tax strategy you just heard about, Mattson Financial has a special offer for you. Gary, Laurel, and their team are going to sit down with you personally to customize a retirement plan just for you. This is a comprehensive plan that does include a look at your taxes, your investments, your income sources, and more. It's complimentary when you're one of the first 5 callers right now if you've saved at least $250,000 or more for retirement. Find out how all that hard work can pay off. Call now, 616-514-3831. That's 616-514-3831. Gary, Laurel, thanks again.